United States former President Donald Trump has pleaded not guilty to the most recent charges filed against him. Hans Marcial has the details.
As the 2024 presidential election quickly approached, former U.S. President Donald Trump continues to face legal woes as he was charged on 4 counts by a federal grand jury for attempting to overturn the previous presidential election. The charges are namely conspiracy to defraud the U.S., conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, obstruction of an attempt to obstruct an official proceeding, and conspiracy against rights. Following this, Trump appeared in a Washington, D.C. court on Thursday 4 p.m. local time wherein he pleaded not guilty. Prior to appearing in court, Trump said in a post on his own Truth Social platform, the latest fake case brought by crooked Joe Biden and deranged Jack Smith will hopefully be moved to an impartial venue, such as the politically unbiased nearby state of West Virginia. Impossible to get a fair trial in Washington, D.C., which is over 95% anti-Trump and for which I have called for a federal takeover in order to bring our capital back to greatness. It is now a high crime embarrassment to our nation and indeed the world. This indictment is all about election interference. It can be noted that despite such allegations, Trump notably remains to be ahead in polls. Meanwhile, U.S. Magistrate Judge Moxila Upadhyaya has scheduled the next hearing in the case on the 28th of August at 10 a.m. local time. This is Hans Marcial reporting, SMNO News.
America may consider sending armed personnel to guard the Strait of Hormuz in an aim to stop Iran from seizing civilian vessels in the strategic waterways. Melchizedek Cadiz reports.
Assalamu alaikum. Tensions between Iran and the United States are bound to escalate further after American officials announced they plan to send armed personnel on commercial ships traveling through the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. plans to send armed troops in tankers to counter Iran's seizure of foreign vessels in the strategic waterway. Among the latest incidents involved the seizure of tankers Nayovai and Purity over separate legal disputes regarding ownership, while the Marshall Islands flagged Advantage Suite was taken due to a collision with an Iranian ship. Without offering much details, American officials said thousands of Marines and sailors are on their way to the Persian Gulf, who are on board the amphibious assault ship USS Bataan and the USS Charter Hall. So far, the U.S. has sent A-10 Thunderbolt II warplanes, F-16 and F-35 fighters, as well as the destroyer USS Thomas Hudner and other warships to the region in response to the seizures. Meanwhile, Iran has accused the U.S. Navy of defending a fuel smuggling activity after the American personnel interfered the inspection of a vessel called Nada II, associated with smuggling Iran's oil and gas into the waters of the Persian Gulf on the 6th of July. Fuel smuggling is rampant in Iran, resulting in the seizure of foreign vessels abusing the Islamic Republic's generous fuel subsidy scheme. Foreign vessels would buy heavily subsidized fuel within the country and smuggle it to neighboring states, where it can be sold nearer to market price, hence providing an opportunity for higher profits. Barakallahu jamian, kan hada Melchizedek Cadiz sa akhbar SMNI.
Qatar has deployed more humanitarian aid for the conflict-stricken families in Sudan as fighting intensifies in the northeast African country. Ronel Mirabel has the rest of the details.
Assalamualaikum. A Qatari airplane carrying 14 tons of food and medical supplies arrived in Sudan as conflict enters more than 100 days. Qatar resumed its air bridge to war-torn Sudan this week. The latest humanitarian effort brought Qatar's total aid to Sudan to 371 tons since May. This came after rights groups warned the Sudanese refugee crisis could soon become a humanitarian catastrophe. The war in Sudan broke out in April 15 following tensions between the Sudanese army and the paramilitary rapid support forces. The rival factions once previously shared power under a 4-year agreement following the toppling of a former longtime Sudanese ruler, Omar al-Bashir, in 2019. The conflict has killed more than 3,000, although the actual figure is believed to be much higher. Sudan has extended the closure of civilian airspace until August 15, with flights for humanitarian and evacuation purposes exempted from the measure. Al Takrir Minaldaw Kanhada Ronel Mirabel, SMNI News, Qatar.
The UAE's latest nuclear reactor has provided around 25% of the world's clean electricity needs, based on a report by the World Nuclear Association. Jonathan Acobo reports.
Marhaba, the Baraka nuclear power plant has played a major role in compensating the declining energy production in Europe, partly due to the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine.
The Director General of the World Nuclear Association said the turmoil in energy markets has started even before the current conflict in Ukraine has sent fossil fuel prices sky high. According to the association, nuclear energy now provides about 25% of the world's energy needs, made possible in part by the Unit 3 of the South Korean APR 1400, or Korean Next Generation Reactor, at the United Arab Emirates, UAE, Baraka nuclear plant. Located in the Al Dhafra region, Baraka is the first nuclear power plant in the Arab world, which consists of 4 pressurized water-cooled reactor units. The third nuclear reactor started operations last year and has already powered more than 80% of Abu Dhabi's clean electricity consumption in December 2022. The operation of the nuclear reactor has increased Baraka's total production of zero carbon emission electricity to 4,200 megawatts for the UAE national grid.
Preparations to operate the 4th and final reactor unit of the Baraka nuclear station was announced in June, while commercial operations are likely to begin in 2024. Tarjublak Almazimin Taditi at Karum Nabalik and Jonathan Kobos My News, Nedidar Emirates.